everyone, welcome back to Christy's Corner. Nice to see you. In this episode, we will be going over how to plan for your Walt Disney World vacation on a budget. As most of you know, my husband and I are going to be going back to the world on Labor Day weekend. And I paid for the vacation entirely out of my savings, not on a credit card. And so I wanted to give you guys some tips for how to do the same thing. Number one, talk with your spouse or others in your party about booking a trip. When can they get vacay time from work? That's the most important thing. You all have to be on the same page. Two, go on the Disney.go website to inquire price for park tickets and number of days you'll be going. That's important too, because you want to know how much time you have and how much time you'll need to explore the world. Number three, explore resorts on property. There's a reason for that, and I'll get to that later. There are 3 categories of resorts to choose from, and they all contain the same benefits where there's free parking, free transportation, extra magic hours, and the magic never ends. Number 4, write down the prices per night of the room of the resort you want to visit as if you were booking. I call this a mock book-ups. Write down the price per day of the theme park tickets. That way you have an idea of how much it's going to cost you. Then from there, you can put a minimum of $200 down when you're booking directly from the website, and then you have to pay as you go up until, I believe it's 30 days before your trip. You have to have it paid in full. And then another option is to obtain a Disney savings account. 3, my favorite option, is to save money on your own instead of booking the trip all at once on a credit card. So when you're saving money on your own, you put $20, $50, $100 each paycheck into your savings account until you have enough to book your trip. Discourage people because you already have a deadline of when you and your spouse and your kids or everybody in your party are going to go. So you have to make sure that you have the money at least 60 days before you guys go. And that's the reason I'm saying this, because at the 60-day mark, you and your family get to choose your fast passes when you're staying on property. So that's why it is crucial to do this. But you can choose your dining reservations up to 180 days before your trip, and that is the recommended time, because that's when you get the prime options, the prime times. And a lot of these restaurants go quickly. So you don't even have to put any money down. You do have to have a credit card to make the reservation. But fear not, all you have to do is browse through the dining options, and you create a My Disney account. You update your profile, and then as you browse through the restaurants, you can actually book for certain days that you anticipate that you're going to be going, and you can cancel those reservations up to 24 hours before your reservation time, and they will not charge your card. So that's a good thing to do. And even before you have your trip booked, you can do this, and it is not necessary to book anything right before you're doing your plans, because as I can say, they do change. People have different tastes, different ideas of what they want to do. Browse through the dining options and the menus on the websites on property. Figure out where your party would like to eat, the price per person, and 20% gratuity, which is not included. It'll be a lot easier to save if you have a rough estimate. You may either pay for your dining up front when booking your trip on a Disney dining plan, and there are several options for that. Basically, you pay up front and they give you options. The best thing would be to save up money for your food and lunches with your trip as well, because even if you do what I did, I saved up the money for 8 months, and then I transferred it from my savings to my checking, and I went onto my Disney account and booked the trip, so it's paid in full, the hotel and the park tickets, I still have time to put 50, 100, 200, or whatever from savings into my checking for these next 60 days. And then I can bring my debit card with me into the parks just for dining, or I can use a credit card and link that to my Magic Band, which I do recommend because Disney has there's a lot of incidentals that you will incur, and it's better not to have your Magic Band linked with your debit card, which is essentially your checking account, because if you have anything outgoing, and Disney, like I said, is not exactly cheap, you run the risk of bouncing checks, not having enough money. So I always insist on you having some cash, and your Magic Band never linked to your debit card. So you have to remember that, and you can always use the money that's in your savings to pay back that credit card. Don't just pay the minimum payments, pay what you incurred on it. So also, the next thing is check the Disney crowd calendar before you book. Prices are lower when the crowds are lower during off-peak season and when